Hey guys, Corin's back again. So in this video, we're going to be going through how to set up a media board um, to be able to set up like a really nice, easy reference board for you to be able to build your maps from if you're using a reference map. Now, the reason why we use a media board for this is uh, it's a good way to create like a temporary image or be able to access a temporary image of anything really in Second Life without having to be able to upload it to it. Now you can't use this to be able to texture everything in SL because obviously the developers don't want you to do that. So that's why you can only do so much with these things. Luckily, it's the perfect use for our tabletop because again, you can upload or you'll be able to use a reference map or sorry, reference image without having to actually upload it to SL. So let's get right down into it. First thing you want to do is open up both your inventory window as well as your building menu. So to do that, all you gotta do is press Control B. Whoops, hang on a second, I gotta click into the window. Press Control B and then also press Control I. B for building, I for inventory, okay? I'm gonna resize this, so what I can then do is just put my building menu and inventory. You know what? Actually, let's keep them off to the side. I'll put this one over here instead. Sorry, this is just for me personally. You don't actually have to do this this part. This is just for my own, I guess, OCD. Anyways, um, so. Now that you have both of these windows open, make sure you have the edit button open, okay, on your building menu. And then also click on your texture tab. I'll be explaining why you did that. Actually, you know what? No, never mind. Keep your object open. Okay, so the reason why you want to keep your object open is in your inventory, you're going to want to left click on your media reference board. So this right here, the WID20 TS media reference board. And the reason for that is you're going to want to left click and drag it out. Okay. And as you can see, it looks like this simple piece of parchment paper. Okay. But just wait. Okay. Next, what you want to do is you want to align it with your table. Okay. Again, if you're not using Firestorm yet, start using it. Go download it. It's free. Has great features. Okay. Once you're doing that, click on the copy, or sorry, make sure you have your table selected first by left clicking on it, and then left click on the C button for the position section of the object tab. Okay, like so. And then you're going to want to zoom in. And then once you're zoomed in a bit, press the middle P button. This will paste all of the XYZ position coordinates for the tabletop to the board, okay? Now, as you can see, it's lower than the alignment grid, and that's fine. All you gotta do is just raise it up using this blue arrow, okay? Raise it up so that it's just barely touching the bottom of the alignment grid, okay? So now, hang on a second. Don't do what I'm about to do, okay? Oh, never mind. Okay. So, uh, don't worry about what I was looking at. I thought I had to fix something I didn't need to, so never mind. Anyways, um, now that you have your media board in position, okay, what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to set it up so that you can put a media face onto it. To do that, what you're gonna want to do is in your building menu, click on this option, select face. This allows you to select individual faces of an object. So as an example, say you got this cube here, right? Say you want to change this cube face, okay, to... I'm just going to use colors for this, but this also works for textures. But let's say you want to make that red, and make this one, let's go yellow. No, actually that's terrible. Blue, okay? And let's say you want to make the top one, let's say green, okay? This allows you to set individual faces of a item or an object in Second Life, okay? and also be able to select it for editing too, individual faces. I mean, so to that end, with select face in your building menu selected, click on the parchment paper of the media board. Okay, this is going to allow you to be able to set this single face to a media. Okay, or sorry, to a media link, and you'll see what that is in just a minute. Okay, so before we get any further, let's find ourselves a nice reference image. Okay. Now I'm going to make sure I select one that I'm going to use for the rest of the how-to videos. So you don't need to use this particular one unless you want to use it to kind of just follow along. Okay. So with Google Chrome open, and the reason we want to use Chrome is it allows you to copy an image address or web address, okay, and paste it. And it'll create just a standalone picture, and you'll see what I mean in just a minute, okay? So let's find ourselves a reference photo. So DND 5e map. Okay, let's find something really simple. You know what? Actually, let's put in an encounter map. That would be a better choice. Okay, let's find one that I'll be able to use just for the rest of the map series. So let's see here. I'd like to have an interior. This one might do. Let's see if we can find any more that are more just like a square. Because that would actually make my life a lot easier. Like just a nice small one. I know this is taking a little while, and I do apologize. Actually, it's got a bit of a slant to it. So, that was actually almost a really good one though. I swear to God, I am not doing this to drag out this video. I promise. I'm just trying to find like a good, perfect example that's going to work well for the other parts of the video, or sorry, the other how-to videos. Actually, that could work. Okay, we're gonna use this one. All right, so actually, oh, goddamn, pardon my language. Yeah, you know what? We're gonna use. Yeah, we'll use this one. Okay, because actually this will be good for doing stair placement as well and alignment grid settings. That's for another video though. Okay, so with Google Chrome open and your image selected, go down, right click on it, and go down to copy image address. Okay, and I'll show you why we're going to do that. Okay, so once you have your image address copied, go back into your Second Life window. Okay, and within your building menu and having texture open, go to the materials drop down box and click on media. Okay, what's going to happen now is you're going to select choose, and it'll ask you to enter a home page for your media board. Okay, now I'm using an old media board that I set up for when I was building the town of Fandalen for the Lost Mines of Phandelver. So that's why I had to do that there. Okay, so this sets the image, and you'll want to click on apply. All right. So now, what we're going to do is, oh, I have to activate the board now. So once you have that set, click on the board. And after closing your building menu, click on the board. Okay. And then what you're going to want to do is, I don't know why it's doing this for some reason. Okay, you know what? I'm going to start this from fresh, so give me a second. set my board up. Don't pay attention to what I'm doing for a second. The release board will not have these issues, so don't worry about that. Okay. All right. Now that I've got this blank one set up. Okay. Go into choose. I gotta pull up my image again. Oops. Okay. There. Apply it. And boom. There's your image. Okay. So now what you want to do is, because the image is not completely centered, you're going to need to modify the texture parameters in your build menu. Okay, it's easy to do, but it's pain in the butt if you're a perfectionist like me. Okay, so in to that end, and you know this actually works out well for one of the other videos we'll be doing when we get to actually building the map. But I won't be covering that in this video. Just the texture modification stuff. Okay. So in the texture part of the building menu, you're able to stretch, rotate, and move a texture along the image, the face of that object. So for example, the media board right here, okay? So as you can see, there's this white border around the interior room that I'm going to be building, okay? We're going to want to get rid of that, but we can't actually take it out of the image. So what we need to do is we need to stretch the image so that it's at both ends to get rid of the white, but just have the image shown. It's very easy to do though, okay? All you have to do is change the horizontal scale and vertical scale, okay? Like so. You can just roll down, change it down to 9, and then you have to fine tune it a little bit. This is a very simple image. Some you really have to play with it a bit. But once I got down to this point, I usually go by 0.025 increments. So, like so. Now, whoops, I actually meant to make that 75, not 25. And because it's a square, I can actually do the same with both values. There are some maps that you have to, like, let's say for example, vertical will be, I don't know, like 9.5, but then horizontal will be like 0.6. But that's just for it's a consequence of using this, but this saves you a crap load of money. You don't have to upload anything. You can just create this temporary thing and it's good to go. Okay. So once you have your image scaled vertically, sometimes you're going to need to what's it called? Change up the offsetting for it. And to show you what I mean, I will use that town of Fandalen map because it looks like it was actually set properly. So for like the demonstration purposes. So I'm going to use the Lost Mines of Phandelver map here, or the town of Fandalen. So as you can see, it's not centered and I have to change it a bit. So it's very easy to do. All you have to do is use the horizontal and vertical offsets. Now for this, because it looks like it's centered horizontally properly, oh, actually, you know what, it's not. Or, no, it is actually, never mind. So horizontally speaking, it's set properly. Vertically speaking, it's not. So all you have to do is move it down. You have to eyeball it a little bit until you kind of get it right. But move this up or down. You can use your mouse wheel to move it in 1.0 increments. Or sorry, 0.1 increments. So like so. So it goes from 175 to 275. Okay. Now, once you think that you've eyeballed it just about properly to get it centered, go ahead and change the scale and see if it works. So as you can see, I didn't eyeball it 100%, So that means I need to change it up a little bit more. So I'm going to go down to 0.16. That's a lot closer. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to 0.01 increments instead of 0.25 increments because I'm very close at this point. So 69, that's not about right. So I'm going to increase it by 2. But that's just because I'm literally eyeballing it at this point. So, but ta-da, it worked. So now that I have this set up, okay, I'll bring this back, this media board back in a second. But this works out well for being able to scale this thing properly for what we need next, okay? So obviously, you know, this is not scaled properly because it's more vertically long than it is horizontally long, right? So first thing you want to do is, as you can see, there's the alignment grid here, right? I'll be explaining how to use the alignment grid in another video, but for setting up the media board, you want to make sure that the board is aligned properly, or not properly, but usably with the alignment grid tiles. So like these black lines, okay? So to do that, all you have to do is use the resizing feature of the building menu. You can access that by pressing Control and Shift. That's the typical. Whoops, actually, I'm going a little bit too far without actually explaining stuff. So hang on. Okay. So this activates the resizing feature or function of the build menu, and what it does is it brings up these 3D red, blue, and green cubes, and these are the X, Y, and Z size modifying cubes, for lack of a better term. There are these light gray ones which allow you to move it along a scaler to like get both all three, like basically to resize all three at the same time. But for our purposes, we're not going to use that. Okay. I'll show you how to use that in another video for when we do the furniture stuff. But for now, just ignore those. So now that I have the function activated, I'm going to grab the red cube. I'm going to stretch out my map. Okay. So see, this looks a lot less squished and gives me a lot more to work with now, right? Now, when I built this map for the module, I used a medium-sized table instead of a small map-sized table. As you can see, the medium is basically the small map, but extended out to the very edge of the table, and then the large is like the entire table. Okay, but that's neither here nor there. Pardon me. Once you have your media board set up properly, and aligned with the alignment grid. That's basically it. You don't have to worry about too much more. Okay. I just wanted to show you that with this map. I'm going to do a smaller map with this one. So all I'm going to have to do is just do this. And yeah, this is mostly just like, I think it's sort of like a cellar map. So that'll work out well for our purposes in the next video. But with that being said, that's it for the media board explanation. Actually, one other thing I wanted to mention for the media board, if you do need to rotate the image, all you have to do is type in a value between 0 and 360 because rotations go in a circle, right? So say for example, I wanted to, I don't know, instead of moving the board, I just wanted to flip the image. I just had to type in that, okay? Never touch the repeats per meter because it will generally screw up your image. Like so, for example, it can. I don't like using it. Like see, for example, it screwed up my the vertical scaling. So what was it for? 70? Oh no, it was 86. 0.86. Perfect. Okay. But yeah, so that's basically why you don't really ever want to touch the repeats, okay? And with that, thanks for watching, and join me for the next video, which is going to be covering how to build a map with walls and tiles and be able to texture them. So until then, have yourselves a good day.